Hey, what's up everybody? This is Gray Phantom 1000 again, and I decided for my first kit, in working with my airbrush and exploring modeling techniques like filling, sanding, things like that, I'm going to work with the Hellcat. So it's a pretty small kit actually. It's only a 1/72 scale, which means that it's only going to be about 5.5 inches long, and I think just a little wider than that at the wings. I think about 6.5 inches at the wings. So I thought what I'd do real quick is just show you guys briefly what you actually get inside of the box, and then I'll go into the build process of it. This is a Academy. It's kind of hard to read there. This is an Academy model kit, so we'll get into this here. Compared to some of the other kits that I've worked on, one neat thing about some of these cheaper airplane kits is there's not a whole lot of parts to them. This kit, for example, in total, including the clear runner here of the canopy parts, only has 4 runners. So not a whole lot of in the way of parts. In this sprue, you guys can see that all you really end up getting are the 2 sides of the body. There's the cowling, the engine's right there, the propeller, and I believe the cockpit's in there as well. On these second 2 runners, it looks like you get the wings, the horizontal stabilizers. I see a fuel tank in here, and it looks like some assorted bombs and missiles. In the way of decals, this kit does come with a sheet of decals. It does come with some of the angry ones there that you can put on the nose. I don't think I'm going to be using those. What I'm going to be shooting for is the dark blue on the top and then the white on the bottom, the navy colors that they would have had one painted in. I will definitely be putting some of these logos or other decals on there though. One thing I did kind of appreciate that I've never been able to try before until now is if you can see that right there, there is a decal in the center of the screen there for the instrument panel. So that should be pretty cool to try to see how that works out. One more thing I'm going to be doing for the first time is I picked up from Walthers some model decal setting solution. So I should be able to get some better results out of the decals that I've been using. Last thing that you get in here is a instruction guide of how to put the kit together. You see all 4 parts there on the back. When you flip it open inside, there's some ideas for color schemes that you might want to do. And the actual assembly of the kit is done in 3 pages. So it should be fairly simple. So I'll get back to you guys when showing some of the construction of the kit. Alright, and here we can see some of the pieces for the cockpit. Here is the floorboard. We can kind of see some of the feet pedals on there. Up here is where the instrument panel would be, control stick, and seat. So what I'm going to do, I've cleared the flash off of these pieces. I'm going to attach them to these bamboo skewers like this. This is the backrest. Put them on a foam block, and then I'm going to get them primered and painted in the right colors they should be. And one thing that I am going to do is, it's kind of hard to see, but on the bottom of this piece right here where the alligator clip is attached, there's a thin piece of masking tape. And anywhere that these parts are going to be glued onto the floorboard here, I'm going to put just a little bit of masking tape so I don't have to scratch that paint off later. If you're ever putting kits together and you painted them and are gluing the pieces together and you're trying to figure out why is the glue bleeding, they don't respond very well, the glue and the paint at least, if you're using, depending on I guess on the paint you're using. It just makes it easier if the plastic can be glued to other plastic pieces. So I'll get these guys primed and painted, and then we'll get into the assembly of the cockpit. Alright everybody, and right now we're looking at the console display for the cockpit as well as the decal that's going to go in there. And I'm sure most of you guys out there have put decals on before, but in case you haven't, obviously these are water slide decals, so all you need to do is put it in some warm water and let it set for about 15 or 20 seconds. And then I like to take it out and give it a few more seconds to rest, just to make sure that all of that glue has kind of worked its way through. So it should be good now, so I'm going to just gently slide this into place. And all I'm basically doing is holding it in place and pulling the paper out from underneath it. It needs to be moved a little bit. It's going to move. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. And you kind of want to run over it and smooth out any imperfections in it. And one thing to kind of help me out here on when you're working on some of these smaller parts, it's a little bit difficult to work on it without the part moving all over the place, especially if it's small enough you can't really get your hands in there. So underneath the part, I actually just wadded up a piece of tape and stuck it under there, and then that way it'll keep the part from sliding around pretty well while you apply the decal. And now I'm going to, for the first time, use it's called Salva Set, and it's made by Walthers. I just picked it up at my local hobby shop. And the idea for this stuff, if you guys have never used it, is it's going to help the decal to adhere better to the part that you're putting it on, as well as help it to snuggle up against whatever it is. So putting it right here on just a flat piece of plastic really isn't going to do a whole much. But putting it on this part lets me test it out to make sure that it doesn't eat the decal up or anything crazy like that. So it kind of just lets me test it out. So the idea behind it, at least, is once I put a decal on the exterior of the plane, it'll make those rivets pop through, and it'll give it the effect that whatever it was put on there really wasn't a decal, but it'll look more painted on. So now we'll get to a quick view of the assembly of the cockpit. Alright, and right here is the back part. The seat would glue to the back of this, and right here is going to be the headrest. Now the instructions for this kit say that we need to use black, but that I think is kind of a bummer, because the only colors inside of the cockpit we would see then would just be this kind of olive green color and then some black. So I want to kind of try to mix it up a little bit, and I've seen a lot in these planes. A lot of them will have this really rich brown leather color, and I don't have a leather colored paint, but I do have Model Master, you can't make that out, this is the rest color, and at least in my eyes it kind of makes for a pretty nice looking leather color. So this is a pretty small surface, so I'm not really going to waste my time trying to get a paintbrush out to do that. What I found works really well is just using well, all this is just a chop off skewer. You can also use a toothpick if you want, but I'm just going to dab a little bit. I don't need very much, and then I'm just going to start to work the paint over the cockpit, over the headrest. And I don't want a whole lot on there. You can always add more, but it's really difficult to take it off. And I think just a little bit more. And it was kind of, I mean, I'm sure this is something that a lot of you guys already do. For me, it was something I just kind of found by mistake the other day, when I needed to paint something and didn't have a paintbrush that was small enough to reach it. Anyways, if you can see that now, I've got a perfectly colored headrest. It looks a little uneven, but as it dries, it'll flatten out. And so I think I'm going to do the same thing now with, right here is the joystick, yeah. Right here is the, why on earth can't I think of what that's called? The, oh gosh, this is embarrassing. The control arm, the, oh heck, I'm just going to call it a joystick. Right down here, there is some texture, if you can see, and it is, I've seen it sometimes. You kind of see them on certain kinds of vehicles where they'll put like a black kind of leather, or in this case, since I'm going to work with the breast color, I'll be doing that rustic look on there, the kind of leathery look. And I'm just going to paint that on using the toothpick, or in my case, the skewer. And if you can see where I'm getting it from, it's just the cap out of the bottle. So when you shake it up, just pull the cap off and work with what's inside the cap. And then you kind of save your paint. I'm kind of getting some of that on my cutting mat. But I think for a lot of this stuff, it's really just kind of, you know, in the detail of how you choose to bring the stuff out on your kit. And all the little bit extras you do, I think really kind of go a long way to, making it look nice. So I actually like that. It's kind of hard to see the detail on it. My camera's not that great. I think that's about as far as it's going to zoom in. But I think what I'll do is find another color and paint the handle up here. And but I'll do that off camera. And the next segment, I think I'll show you guys what the completed cockpit looks like. Alright, and here, as you guys can see, is the final result, the cockpit. Again, this is a 1/72 scale, so it is pretty small. So I'll try to get my hands away from it. But Jerry, you can kind of see the leather there on the top for the headrest. If we're swinging around over here, you can see the decal on there is still looking pretty good, even after the setting solution, so I must have used it right. It's kind of hard to see, but right underneath, right about there, you can see the two foot pedals as well as the handle. On the control yoke, I painted in a aluminum color just so they'd kind of stand out a little bit. And you kind of see that leathery rust color down there that goes at the base of the yoke, kind of helps to make that stand out. There weren't any seatbelts, and there is not a pilot figure for this kit, so I'm actually okay with that. I kind of prefer, when I'm putting these kits together, not to have a pilot in them. At least that's how I feel right now, but maybe after I paint one up and it looks pretty decent, I might change my mind. So that's it for the cockpit. I think that'll probably do it for this clip, and next we'll start on getting this installed into the two fuselage halves. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.